Last year was named Big Sky Conference Coach of the Year for the 4th time in his career, and is the only coach in the Big Sky to be named Coach of the Year at 3 different schools. He was also honored as the Sporting News' National Coach of the Year for the United States this year. And then finally, the offense, and you know, it happens because of a team effort and all the coaches, but the offense at Idaho State University broke all of the offensive records for both Idaho State University and the Big Sky Conference. All of that happened because of the leadership of our coach, Mike Kramer.
In my mind, I would always think to myself, when Dustin played for us in his last year, 2010, correct? It should never have come to that. Now here's one of the great young players in the history of our conference, who was one of the leading tacklers in our conference as a safety, down in medical school, going to go on and be a featured part of the success and the quality of our life, and yet that guy did not have on-field success. On-field success comes as a result of so many other factors, and maybe those factors were not evident or were not here, but what we did was we made a concerted effort to take care of the guys like Dustin with the opportunity we had. When Jeff came to me and said, look, we're considering you at Idaho State, and then President Delas, okay? And Jeff and everybody flew up to Moscow to talk to me when I was working at Washington State. Our vision coalesced into an opportunity for us to do what we are doing now. What we were this past season is the way we will always be. And the one thing that will happen to us in history, there's only 2 coaches in the United States who have ever been 3-time Coach of the Year. Excuse me, I gotta say this right. Coach of the Year 3 times in the same conference. Myself and Coach Dennis Erickson. And I promise you that I will not break that record. Because I'm not going anywhere else in the Big Sky. And we're not going to work on any type of record against that. So I'm very, very proud of where we have achieved or where we have come. The journey was fraught with a lot of steps, missteps, and re-steps. We talk about whether I was a coin collector or a mountaineer. Well, let me tell you, I just bought a boat for about $100,000. I'm obviously not a coin collector. My wife would be the first person to tell you that I didn't spend money as fast as anybody. But that boat came as a result of a pledge that she made. In 2003, at Montana State, we were 1-3. I'm at home on Sunday night. I'm rubbing my head, not touching any hair. I go, God, Sandy, I'm never going to get that boat. We might not win another game. I might get fired. Sunday night, we're getting ready to go back to the team, and she goes, win out, beat the Grizzlies, go to the playoffs, and you can buy that boat. So I went back to the team that night and went, okay, fellas, here's how this works. It's no longer about you. This brochure is about us and my boat. We didn't lose. We beat the Grizzlies. We went to Northern Iowa in the playoffs. And $76,000 later, I had a Mastercraft X30 wakeboarding boat, and I had never wakeboarded a day in my life. In fact, I put on the wakeboard in my hot tub because I didn't even know how to put one on, 2004. All right, so last year, the boat's now 10 years old. We're sitting around the house, my brothers and I are sitting there, and my brother Aaron goes, okay, Sandy, what's it going to take to get a new boat? No, we're not doing that. Sandy, he goes, come on, Sandy, there's got to be something. She goes, no, I'm not going to fall into that trick. About a half hour later, Sandy goes, all right, here's the deal, boys. And we're all sitting there looking at her. She goes, you got to become National Coach of the Year. On December 20th, Steve Shack called me in the morning and he goes, hey, Kramer, the Sporting News just named you National Coach of the Year. So $110,000 later, that's how much the Mastercraft X30 costs now. Sandy's now really penniless. So I'm obviously not a coin collector. The boat that I have is an emblem, a symbol of the youth of our program, the youth of how we feel about where we're at, and the youth of how we're going to be in this program for years to come. Because this is not going to be a flash in the pan for us. We built our success on academics and on social responsibility. The on-field success comes as a byproduct. Literally, it's the carrot top. It's the green on the top of the carrot. You don't eat it, you don't really do much with it, it happens. The carrot is the substance and the nutritional part of the entire plant. And for us, the carrot, the orangeness of the carrot is academics. 92 Bengal football players will have graduated this May since we've been here. That began in 2011, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And some of those guys have graduated summa cum laude. Some of those guys have graduated with just enough credits to be able to get their degree, but all of them have their degree. And they've taken our APR, which is academic progress rate, from garbage. From garbage. We had a pre-med major in our academic situation. He's here today in 2010-11, and we were the worst in the nation at 838. And we went 2 years later to 1,000. To 1,000. Last year we were 981 in our 4-year average. And our 4-year average has been buttressed by the fact that our APR, our academic progress rate, has stayed above 980 for 4 consecutive years. That means the money that we spend on recruiting, because it's only about the guys that are on scholarship, is being rewarded, which is unfathomable to me how it could not be, by guys going to class, by guys paying attention, by guys making progress towards their degree, and guys graduating. And I'm as proud of that as I am of any win, of any records, of anything we've done. Because, simply stated, football is a phenomenon. 114 million Americans watch the Super Bowl. The next highest rated show has been only 20 million in 2015. Check out the Nielsen ratings and you'll understand what I'm saying. Football is just a phenomenon. Education is not. It is something that we work on every single day, that we strive every single minute as a coaching staff to have our guys academically achieve, whether it be in recruiting, whether it be in retainment, and whether it be in accomplishment. One of the cool guys that was a teammate of Dustin's when he played for us was a kid by the name of Jay Pele. And I don't know if you saw his YouTube about 3 weeks ago. He was just accepted as a training member of the Pocatello Police Department. And as part of your training, you have to be tear gassed and tased. And at 6'3", 240 pounds, when they tased him, he fell a long ways. They caught him on the ground. So it's a really cool thing for us to have one of our guys, who's not a native of Pocatello, come to Pocatello and want to stay. And I think we find that over and over and over and over again. Guys who are not from Idaho, who are recruited to Idaho State, fall in love with Eastern Idaho, fall in love with Pocatello, fall in love with our community, fall in love with what you all represent. Why? Well, all you need to do is get in your car and drive to Las Vegas, or drive to Los Angeles, or drive to San Diego, or drive to Seattle. Drive to any of those metropolitan areas, and then contrast it to what we have in terms of the efficiency of life, the quality of life, the future of life in a beautiful city like Pocatello, and you will understand why so many of the guys that we recruit that are not from Idaho come here and stay, and why so many guys from Idaho come and discover that Pocatello is a really cool place. Because we don't have the greatest reputation. I grew up in eastern Washington, North Idaho, and Pocatello was never thought of as being a garden spot. Let's admit it. But it is. It certainly is, in so many thousands of different ways. Not only from our educational system, but the safety on our streets, to the care of our streets. I know we've got issues to take care of. I know there are things in our community, things in our region of the state that need to be addressed. It's an ongoing human experience. But that human experience is enhanced by the quality of life that you've provided for a lot of the denizens who live in our great city. So I'm proud to be from Pocatello. I'm proud to be from Idaho State. I'm proud to be your head football coach. But I'm also proud to be an American. And one of the things about being an American is having a sense of history. What I'm going to get the opportunity to do as a reward of my 40th wedding anniversary. Remember, I got married back when, in fact, I had a bigger afro than most black guys on our team. But one of the things I have been able to do for our 40th anniversary is to make a return trip to Europe. We're talking about history. My sense of the human experience in northwestern Europe from 1944 through 1945 is my area of interest. I'm currently in the process of writing a manuscript on 2 different books that I would like to write. One is a battle for the Lafayette Bridge by the 82nd Airborne in the early days of the Normandy invasion. I've actually been there, been on site. I'm going to go back, stand on the site again, and resurvey the site. The other one is to understand the complete struggle of how we got into the Hurtgen Forest and what the Hurtgen Forest battles meant to us in October and November of 1944, when a lot of Americans in American history thought the war could be ended by Christmas. The nature of my story, though, is not necessarily about the generals or the colonels. The nature of my story is about the young 18, 19-year-old guys who were born in 1924, 1925, even 1926, who as citizen soldiers were thrust into opposing a wounded, a decimated, yet highly professional German force at the same time, trying to dislodge them twice. So it's a great study of our society. The society we enjoy today in 2015 is very similar to the society we enjoyed in the 1930s. In fact, we tell our football team, the sport has not changed since the 1920s. Toughness counts, low man wins, and a touchdown still only worth 6 points. So some of the attributes that were shared by the young men in the 1940s are still some of the attributes that we look for in our guys. Teamwork, toughness, resilience, ability to think on your feet, ability to take command of a situation and make it profitable without endangering everybody else around you. And to that end, I'm probably the most proud. Because at Idaho State, we have slowed down the attrition in our program as a result of academic malfeasance. We have slowed down the amount of contact we have had to have with our community's police forces about the aberrant behavior of our guys. And we have increased our on-field presence by being successful. Undefeated at home. Undefeated at home. Undefeated at home.
Amen.
Lastly, as a return to health and youth, I'm a bicyclist also, and you see what I ate today? I ate about 8 leaves of lettuce. I just got back from the doctor, and when he weighed me, I said, how much did I weigh? And he didn't answer, he just said, get off. So I think when you get on the scales and the scale doesn't give you a number, it just says get off, I think you probably weighed enough. So you'll see me riding my bicycle in the neighborhood and out in the streets. One of my favorite rides is to go up to Blackfoot and ride out to Arco and back. But one of the things I love to do is go to Arco and eat, and then get blown back. So I guess I'll go up there and not eat as much, and hopefully have to work my way back. But if you see a big guy with no hair riding his bike, you don't have to pull over. You can come by as close as you want because I'll put a bigger dent in your car than you could possibly imagine. I'd like to open up for any questions you would have on where we're at in our football program and where we're going.
So I had the opportunity, our board had the opportunity for Jeff to come and present some work that the foundation did with ISU athletics in the practice field. And it wasn't germane to the conversation, but one of our board members asked Jeff, this is of course last spring, and asked Jeff, how many wins is the football team going to have this year? You remember this, Jeff?
I remember the
Sort of.
engagement, yeah.
So I'm going to just tell, so Jeff said 7. I thought, wow, that, Jeff's got a lot of confidence, let's put it that way. And so that's the story. Now my question is, how many wins are we going to have in football this year?
We'll have enough wins. Here's how I want to say it. We'll have 19 because we have 19 seniors next year, and all 19 guys will have graduated by May of 2016. So the wins and losses to me now are the carrot top. Again, it's just going to be green, it's going to grow, and it's going to be what it's going to be. I don't really worry about it. We lose a great quarterback in Justin Arias, who, oh, by the way, left not only with his undergraduate degree, but a graduate degree from Idaho State. He has an opportunity possibly to be a professional quarterback. I don't know at what level. I don't know if he's tall enough. I don't know if he has a strong enough arm. But he was just such a tremendous player for us. We also lost a really, really great left tackle who graduated with a 3.85, who will graduate in May with a 3.85 grade point average in philosophy, which is, I'm an engineer guy, so I'm A to B, philosophy, wow. That's like using soap to do your dishes. I'm like, whatever. So, but Jimmy Bagley leaves us. We also will have graduated all 20 seniors by May. So to me, the wins, we got 20 this year, we get 19 next year. We play Eastern Washington, Montana, and Montana State all here deep into the season next year. I think we'll be fighting for the Big Sky Conference Championship. The replacement issue for us will be on offense, can our young quarterbacks replace what Justin brought to us? And defensively, can we find some traction? We finished 10th in the conference in defense, even though we were led by 2 great safeties. Cody Sorensen, who graduated with a degree in civil engineering in 2016, and Tyson Manu, a favorite son here from Pocatello Highland High School. Those two guys led all defensive backs in the conference in tackles. Next year, I consider them both to be first-team all-conference caliber safeties. We're not good on defense unless our safeties are among the best in the conference, as witnessed by a couple guys who played for me, Jimmy Lake at Eastern Washington, Kane Allen at Montana State, and Ryan Forrest at Montana State. And if I had Dustin back for another 4 years, I think we'd change his transcripts and come back and play for us, and he can go to medical school some other time. So I'm real proud of where we're going to be, though. We have enough guys back to be really, really, really good, especially on our offensive front, which returns almost entirely attack.
So what you're saying is ask Jeff that question next time?
Ask him again, and I'll do everything to
I
back up his
I
name.
thought you did a pretty good job. Who would have believed that, right?
Well, I would. We lost Eastern by 5 up there. We scored a touchdown with 6 minutes to go and never got the ball back. And of course, the Montana State game went down to the very last play on the road, and it was not pass interference.
What are you going to best without Don, and how are you guys going to move forward with that?
Say that again.
How are you guys moving on without Don, and are you guys going to keep the
Yeah,
same
Don
offense?
Bailey, who's been our offensive coordinator since I've been here and been an assistant coach for me since 2001, accepted a job at the University of Hawaii, and we wish him Godspeed and good luck. We were prepared for this moment 2 years ago by hiring Sheldon Cross, who I'd known from my days at Washington State University. And I will only want to have a quarterback coach and an ex-quarterback call the plays, because those guys, it's a different mindset. So Sheldon will slid into the offensive coordinator's job. Matt Troxel, who played wide receiver in college, is our offensive line coach. He's the smallest offensive line coach, about that tall, in the United States, but pound for pound, by far the best. Idaho State's offensive front, this is the best offensive front we have ever had, flat out, period, ever. And we returned 4 starters in that group with 2 young superstar tackles waiting in the wings. I'm real happy with where we're at. Our receiving corps returns a great story in and of itself, and Madison Mangum on one side, and Brock Malcolm and Hagen Graves on the other side. Kyle Williams returns as a slot. We returned 3 tight ends that have all started. Josh Cooks led the conference and the nation receiving as a tight end for 2 years, and he's got 2 years left. Tyler Graves, Hagen's brother, and Tyler Wright from Mount Home also come back at tight end. We're loaded on offense. I mean, loaded. And we've got depth. We've got running back. Xavier Finney returns at running back. Ja'Cory Ford, who last year in his first 8 carries had scored 5 touchdowns, comes back as the backup, a kid by the name of Nico Hayes comes back as a tailback who's had an outstanding winter. We have no weakness on offense, save the fact that losing Coach Bailey, we lose a little bit of the symmetry that he and I always had together. Our offense, well, I'm a defensive guy, our offense has always been what I wanted. I think we'll be just fine on offense. The question is, can we get better defensively? Part of that has to be with, we have a great nose tackle in Tyler Kluger, who will be an NFL player. He's a walk-on, who came to us from Pocatello, Idaho. He's 6'4", 317 pounds. Yesterday he bench pressed 225, 45 times, which if you were aware of this past week in the NFL Combine, a couple of first-round draft choices only benched him 27, 28 times. So he's got numbers. Now it's just a matter of whether he can play that way. We returned 2 excellent linebackers, particularly Hayden Stout on the outside, who's out of Meridian, who's just been a phenomenal player for us. And the safety, both safeties returned. The corners have all got experience. Our kicker comes back. He was good at field goals, but he kicked 12 of his last 13 kickoffs out of bounds. Out of bounds. We're at Montana State, and I'm standing down on the 35. We're kicking off from there. We're going to kick that way. The ball went on my right side, hit a guy in the second row. We had to delay the game for 30 minutes while I brought the ambulance and all their eyes. No, I'm just kidding. We lose our punter, CJ Reyes, who is doing an internship right now at Blackfoot Fire Department. Is on his way to getting his, wants to be an EMT. He's going to stay get his nursing degree at Idaho State, which is a really cool story in and of itself. So I'm pretty confident we're going to be pretty darn good for a long ways. Very few people climb a mountain by themselves. You're always roped to somebody else. It's we summit it. We summit it. Well, what we've done now is we share the limelight as a football team with our university, with our athletic department, with our university, with our community, with our region of the state, with our state, with the western part of the United States in our conference. Us, we, us. Never will you be able to disregard us again, because we are a force, because we are academic, we're a social,